So the stage for me was like home.
A Detroit native, Kimmie Horne developed her own unique style of performing and singing. She was inspired by her great aunt, the legendary songstress and movie icon Lena Horne, and her uncle Cleveland Horne, the lead vocalist of Motown's Fantastic Four. She is recognized internationally as a jazz singer, weaving blends of pop and rhythm and blues, as well as classical jazz with her rich alto voice and sultry performances. In 2017, Horne received the national honor as Lady of Jazz by Black Women in Jazz and Arts Award. Most recently, she founded the Kimmie Horne Jazz Festival, identified by the National Civic League with the All-American City Award in 2021. Horne will be opening for Kenny G on September 9th, 2022 at the historic Temple Theater in downtown Saginaw, Michigan. Welcome, Kimmie, to the Temple Arts Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're looking forward to hearing your voice before Kenny G on September 9th. But I wanted to jump on here and chat a little bit just to learn more about your story and your journey with jazz and your voice. So, tell me a little bit more about your start in performing. Is this something that you've done since childhood, or when did you discover this gift of yours?
Yes. First of all, thank you and so much for having me on the show, on the podcast. I am truly honored and looking so forward to sharing the stage with Kenny G. I really am. I've been singing now professionally for about 30 years, just over 30 years. So I did start quite early because I'm from a family of 7. And my dad was a professional drummer and singer, and he happened to be a carpenter as well. So we had a recording studio always in our home from the very beginning of time. From the family of 7, I am right in the center. I'm a middle child of the 7 siblings. And I just really picked up a lot of jazz music and R&B music that my dad used to always play throughout the house. And I think that it started there. My uncle was a member of one of Motown's earlier groups, the Fantastic Four, and his name was Cleveland Horne. So they used to come over and record in the home studio a lot. We had a lot of different groups that came through. So I really grew up with music all around me. And then, finding out that I was the great niece of Lena Horne, that just piqued my interest more in terms of learning more about music, or really diving into music a bit. So, I started out kind of early hearing it. And then I started listening to it and mimicking different singers, great singers like Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and Lena Horne. And it just started from there.
Yeah. What a great thing to have that musical foundation in your home with your own family, and being able to start at such an early age to recognize music as a way of communication.
Yes.
I'm a little bit curious. You described learning from some of these other greats. Did you have formal training as well, or was this something that was more learned by doing and listening?
Yes, more learned by doing and listening, and finding that with listening to the radio and hearing some of these songs and singing them back or along with the artist, I started really to develop my voice and started to see how I had so many different timbres and tones and to play with. And I just think it started from there. And of course, as I started singing, I did dive into different vocal lessons and different particular coaches to be able to really enhance and understand my voice better. So, a combination of on-the-job training, and then, of course, throughout my career, just fine-tuning.
I'm curious to understand a little bit more about that performance element of your work, and how you've been able to develop that over the course of the years. Is
Mhm.
that something that came easy to you going in front of people, or was that more of a challenge where you had the voice but maybe not necessarily the nerves, so to speak, or did they come together for you?
You know what? It's really amazing, and I think and I really embrace this, that, I think because of my upbringing and growing up around the music in the studio and us having musical equipment always in the house that we used to have to set up and help set up for the different artists that came in, it really was a feeling of home. So the stage for me was like home. I feel extremely comfortable and I feel extremely um, just very, very comfortable. I really feel at home on stage. And it always reminds me of family, again, because I grew up around it. And so the stage for me is a very comfortable place. And it's really amazing because one of my uncle's songs, Cleveland Horn of the Fantastic Four, one of the songs that he wrote was The whole world is a stage and everybody plays a part. And it just kind of connects with me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a beautiful thing, and thinking about the stage as a home.
Mhm.
You've had the opportunity to travel as well, so it's in some ways maybe a mobile home of sorts, being able to travel the world. Do you find that there's any particular part of the globe, or venue or type of venue that you appreciate performing at the most, or is it different each time and appreciated each time?
It is different each time, but one of the places that I found most intriguing was Japan. I traveled Japan probably 25, 26 times, and while performing over there, I started doing tours over there very early and still in my teens, and so with doing that, it really became a second home to me. I studied Japanese, I sing in Japanese, I speak a little Japanese, and it really helped me understand my talent, um, my gift, and how much the world is really is a melting pot, for music and musicians and singers. And so yeah, I think Japan is one of my favorite places to perform internationally. And I just bought into the whole culture, of singing and just them appreciating jazz to another whole level too. So yes, I think it made a huge difference, and I felt so at home because again, the stage with it being my home, that was one consistent element wherever I went to make me feel even comfortable when I was somewhere that I didn't speak the same language.
Mm. Yeah, almost as though the music itself was quite literally, in some sense, the language there.
Absolutely. It really is. I mean, it really, this story is a true story. My very first time going to Japan, I was, like I mentioned, in my teens, and I went over just myself. I was going over to be featured with a 15-piece Japanese orchestra. I was so excited about getting there and jumping into this opportunity that when I got on the plane on this 14-hour plane ride, I started to think, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I mean, none of these guys speak English and I don't speak Japanese. What made me just go for it? And when I got there, I learned that music truly does transcend race, language, age. We started playing our first song, and it was like we've been playing together forever.
Yeah, it's interesting too with a career of your longevity, the way that recording formats have changed and
Mm,
the distribution has changed. You go from from vinyl to CD, or vinyl to cassettes to CDs, back to vinyl, now streaming. You know,
Yes,
there's all these ways that people are able to receive music.
yes,
I think that that ability to maintain some of that the classic sound and this thread through your career is really interesting to learn about. You know, in the element of the live performance, how we have all these different ways of listening to music in our cars or at work,
yes,
or while we're while we're mowing the lawn. But the
yes.
element of bringing people together with your voice in a live setting is really quite marvelous. And sort of along that lines, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the jazz festival that you've started,
Mhm.
and the way that now you're able to sort of continue to support others and
Yes.
promote jazz through the festival.
Yes, I'm extremely, extremely proud and happy that I launched the Kimmie Horne Jazz Festival in 2016 in the city of Lathrop, which is a small, quaint but cozy city. And I launched it there as a 1 day free festival just to be able to have a musical stage where I can invite some of my musical peers out, folks that I've always wanted to perform with or maybe be able to see perform, and just wanted to be able to create a musical family affair. And that's how it started, as simple as that. And it's grown now. 2022, we just had it, August um, it's the weekend. It's turned into a weekend extravaganza now, and we have 10 performing artists every year. We have a Lifetime Achievement Award recipient that we present an award to. The festival now has um, created very a lot of interest in terms of the islands, like the Keys. They are interested in bringing the festival there. So, we talked about mobile, and I think that that mobile thread is going to continue. So I'm really excited. We had over 15,000 people at the festival this year. We've been able to bring in 21 sponsors to help sponsor this amazing undertaking. And we've been able to give over $30,000 to the Ronald McDonald House charity, to be able to give back to the community. So it's something that is really has taken on its own like dimension, if you will. And it's quite amazing. It's far exceeded my expectation of what the festival initially started out as, and now is bigger than just festival. It really is. I mean, people are planning and they look forward to it. They bring their families. It's an event for the entire family to enjoy. We even have a Saturday morning fitness and fun, jazzy fitness and fun day, where it's bike riding and walking and hula hooping and majorettes marching.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
pretty incredible.
it sounds like you're keeping the torch not just lit but burning real bright there, and that's
Yes.
such a great thing to hear. Before I let you go here, I'd love to get your perspective a little bit, or your thoughts on some advice or encouragement for young performers, or those that might be starting a career or early in their career. Some maybe a lesson or two that you have carried with you, and you've clearly had a great deal of success in your tenure, but I imagine that success has come through some lessons learned. And would you be willing to
Yes.
share that?
Yes, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned and still learning is that, to learn as much as you can about your industry. I think that that is really, really important. And now, with the internet and with all of this information that we have access to our fingertips, I think that that is a huge plus to be able to kind of go to school ourselves, and find out about our industry, find out about our voice. I mean, our instrument. If it's an instrument that you play, then I think it's important to continue to learn and grow about your instrument because I think it's huge to know and learn who you are through your voice because it really is in sync with to me the business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, Kimmie, thank you so much for your thoughts here and sharing this part of your story. And we look forward to hearing your voice and seeing your performance at the Temple Theater very soon.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And it was truly my pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Temple Arts Podcast. Please consider subscribing to the podcast and making a donation to the arts through SaginawArtMuseum.org or TempleTheater.com. This will allow us to continue to bring enriching program to Saginaw and beyond.